AskReddit by Objective Werewolf 78. What's a hard-hitting life lesson you learned way too late in life? When you're down in the dumps, someone will be along shortly to kick you. Yeah, there really is no bottom. As long as you're alive, it can get worse, but it can also get better. Work-life balance is critical, and hustle culture is stupid. The only people who notice all those extra hours you put in at work are your family and friends. This is such good advice. Employers never notice the extra effort, so don't do it hoping for any recognition, especially at the cost of time you would spend with people who actually care about you. Deleted. I just learned this one. When you are genuine, you assume everyone else is too, but that really isn't the case at all. Don't waste energy on people who don't reciprocate or respect you. The absolute relief you feel also when you let go of that type of relationship. Social skills are skills, too. This is a really underrated one. It's amazing how far you can get just by knowing what to say to people. Quit expecting you from other people. I've heard it as, never assume other people's brains work the same way your brain works. Because they don't. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish. I like the saying, self-care isn't selfish. Health is the true wealth. Health and time. Be mindful how you spend it. Comparison is the thief of joy. Or, as my grandma would say, there will always be someone prettier, smarter, richer, etc. than you. Think about what you have rather than what you don't have and you'll be much happier. She was right. Knowing when to mind your own business and when to speak up is life lesson that takes time. But once you know when to react or attract, life flows much more smoothly. This was definitely mine. I don't even want to know how many opportunities I blew because of this. Smoking isn't worth it. I've been trying to stop for years, down to between 2/0 and night on AVG1. I'm a Sam and the stress OFC causes me to smoke more, so it depends on the day. I'll appreciate any and all tips on how to make it stop even if I potentially heard them before. So far I have tried nicotine patches, vaping, nicotine gum, Nordic spirits. Quitting cold turkey, I get obsessions for 6 mo plus after. Slowly reducing the amount of smokes day, I got to where I am now, down from 1 pack a day. Deleted. This is such a tough one too, because it's incredibly hard to distinguish people who genuinely want you around and aren't reaching out for a good reason and those who couldn't give less of a shit about you. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt most of the time, but sometimes you do have to step back and see if they notice that literally nobody gives a fuck. Once you realize that, it's so much brighter. Yup, and everyone fucks their life up in some way. Bullies are cowards. Also, loyalty in the workplace is never rewarded, only exploited. No good deed goes unpunished. For me, it's all about tomorrow is never promised. My husband died very suddenly and for a while I gave up on life. I became very ill and had to be flown to hospital from the tiny island we lived on. Somewhere during that scary flight I chose to live. That was 7 years ago and I'm now living a very full life. Working PT and traveling as much as possible. Very powerful comment. Thank you for sharing. Just pay the bill, soon as it comes in. Hemming and hawing about the price of an establishment you willingly entered is trashy behavior. Stop it. Pay it and leave, and don't come back again if you don't like it. Applies to all restaurants and clubs. Financially, learn to live on half of what you make. Generally, things rarely change for the better in your life unless you change them. You're never going to please everyone, so might as well make the most of life and do what makes you happy, as long as it's not harming anyone else. And as long as it's not harming yourself either. Not all people who are friendly with you are your friend. A lot of high-paid executives aren't in that position because they are the most successful one in the room. They are in the position because they prioritize their career at the expense of everything else. Some people are so poor, all they have is money. With every year I look at senior executives and see that I really don't want their job. They're either single, divorced, and/or completely miserable and disengaged in their personal lives. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. People will tell you a lot about themselves if you just listen. You can do everything right and some people still won't love you like you love them. Just because someone is your parent doesn't mean they are able or capable of loving you. It's okay to let them go. This is hard, but the best option. Sticking around or staying in contact just makes it worse. At this point I'll take the guilt of not being there out of self-preservation. You have to take chances sometimes, and although it can be scary and outside your comfort zone, you'll never know what could have been unless you go for it. Trust patterns of people's behavior. Past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. But show some grace. People grow and change.